What do you think of today's announcement?
Well, very sad about the news and everything, I will say. But I mean, was it me or was it my vision that when he started off the conversation, he mentioned OKC? And I said to myself, I mean, I appreciate the guys from Seattle putting in the effort they did, but I felt like David, he kind of stuck it to us a little bit today, just by him coming out and kind of saying that he was headed to the OKC game, knowing that this meant so much to a city. I think what it did to me, it made me realize what we're dealing with.
So you thought it was a little disrespectful?
I did. I thought that was disrespectful for the city of Seattle to see, and I thought that was for a commissioner that runs the NBA league. I thought that was very disrespectful for him to start off the interview with saying OKC. So in my eyes, it just told me what we're dealing with.
What'd you think about the vote when you heard it was 22-8?
Well, it was good to see that we had some owners on our side, and you know, we'll see what happens in the future. I don't think they really tell us what's going on behind closed doors, but hopefully they have some talks about expansion teams and expanding out here in the next 2 to 3, 4 years, and hopefully we keep our fingers crossed and let that happen. You know, retrospect to the whole deal with Sacramento, you know, you never really want to see a team lose a city, especially a team that has a fight that want to keep a city there. So I think, as I said this before, people in Seattle they have to be in for basketball, not necessarily for one particular city. So I don't think we should get caught up on one particular city. We just got to go for basketball. So you can never know. You never know what's going to happen if one of these teams decides to sell their franchises. I think with the numbers that Mr. Hansen and his group put up there, that we never know. Maybe in the future one of these teams will say, hey, we want to sell our team. So I think we should keep our fingers crossed, but be optimistic about the situation and just hope for the best luck in the future.
Were you a little disheartened that Stern didn't come out and say anything about it, like a consolation prize or at least like a path for Seattle?
Like I said, you know, I mean, I've done business for a long time, and just for him to come out in the meeting and start off with the words that he did, but not have a compassion to say he would work with the city over an expansion team, knowing that how much money that they put up, which is a very, very big piece of this. I felt like he stuck it to us a little bit today. I have a lot of respect for Mr. Stern. And I've worked for him under the league, under his rules and everything for years. Never had any problems with him. But, you know, just watching the way that interview was conducted today, I would have to say it just raised my eyebrows a little bit on just how it was done.
You've been in contact with like Brian Robinson and Hansen.
Right.
You talked to him before in the past. What would you feel like if you were in their place?
Well, I mean, I said this long. I was hoping that the team came back because there's been so many people hard work around this city that's been going for this. Not just Mr. Hansen and his group, but it's been other people like Brian and the smaller groups around here have joined forces, because at first it was like 8 or 9 groups. So then they kind of combined everything. So it's a lot of egos to put on the side. So a lot of communication that was going on for the last 3, 4 years with everybody just communicating and get on the same board to be on the same path was amazing for me to see. And it taught me a lot in business and communications and everything. So my hat goes off to the people here in Seattle that was fighting for the game of basketball. I think our fight still continues, but you know, we got some bumps in the road, but I think we have to be optimistic about the situation and just hope for the best luck in the future.
So you feel encouraged about the future?
I do. I think sometimes the NBA, they won't come out and say exactly what they're going to do, but I think with us seeing at the vote, having at least 8 votes, I think in the future we got room to grow.
Did you get much reaction from former teammates or anything like that today, people reaching out to you?
I haven't, but I did. I'm going to talk to Gary later on tonight and ask him about his feelings. And we've kind of said this all along, that we thought our best hope to bringing basketball back to this area would be through expansion. And I think that's probably what's going to happen in the future. But the problem becomes that they normally only bring 2 teams in,
right.
not 1 team in. So I think we got to be optimistic about that. We got to say how long. It's the waiting game now. So I think that we kind of thought that at first, and it seems to me like we were used for leverage a little bit, maybe to bring some of the investors out there in California to make sure that they got that deal, their new arena deal done, which I still don't think is really probably you know, under paper, under wraps yet, but it seems like to me at least they've made a lot of attention that way. So we were a little bit used as leverage here in Seattle, I think, and it feels that way right now too.